Hey, it's me, your boy. It's been a long time since I made some serious real content, so I figured I'd make this a long one. And if you've seen the video length, then you know I'm not joking when I say that. Anyways, let's get right into the good fucking kill me.
What the heck is 100% orange juice?
And is it worth your money?
Part 1. What's the game?
100% Orange Juice is, for lack of better terminology, a crazy-ass board game style turn-based trip through hell and back. I mean, just look at the way these fuckers move. The pace is insane and the shenanigans are hilarious. Seriously, this game never ceases to amuse and infuriate in equal measure. So, first of all, how does it play? Starting the game, you'll choose your starting character. Don't pick Saguri unless you like dying a lot. As for the rest, it's a little difficult to sum up in one go, so I'll use a standard game setup as an example. Games start off with the host choosing a stage, and then everyone choosing a character and cards. Stage variety is somewhat limited at first, but you can easily get more as you play. Characters, on the other hand, are plentiful. There's a bunch to choose from, each with their own stats, special abilities, and adorable artwork. Some of them even have voice acting. Unless you're Popo, in which case you play as actual fucking Satan. Once you've chosen a character, you'll then select 10 cards, which will be added to the central deck that you and other players draw from. I'll get into how these work more in a minute. With that out of the way, the game starts.
Part 2. What do you do?
Once in game, it's all about getting Norma, which are basically step-by-step victory conditions such as getting a certain number of stars or wins. Players will take turns, with every 4 turns being a chapter. At the start of a chapter, stars will be handed out to all players and field events might happen. Whenever you land on a home tile, a Norma check will be performed to see if you've achieved your current Norma. If you have, you'll level up and be able to select a new harder condition. There are 5 levels, and if you complete your chosen Norma at level 5, you win. That's about it. When the game's over, you'll be awarded with an in-game currency form of stars, which you can use to buy new cards, characters, stages, and a few cosmetics, among other things. There's also unique event currencies to look out for too, such as Halloween candy. Games can go on pretty long, especially in multiplayer, so be ready for that. Now, onto the stages. They're composed of a bunch of tiles of different kinds, and many have the aforementioned field effects that can really change things up. These multicoloured tiles are home tiles, and you'll find yourself on one when you start the game. There's one for each player, and they're coloured and numbered accordingly. Landing on one will trigger a normal check, as well as heal you for 1 HP. You can stop at your own home whenever you move over it, but the same isn't true for the others, so you'll just have to get lucky and land right on them. These golden tiles are bonus tiles. Landing on one of these will have you roll to receive stars. The higher the roll, the more you'll get.
Nice.
Blue tiles are drop tiles, on which you roll to lose stars. The bigger the roll, the more you lose. Purple tiles are warp tiles, which will randomly warp you to other warp tiles. What? Red tiles are encounter tiles, which will trigger a battle with a random enemy or a boss, depending on whether the boss is about or not. If the boss is about, they'll be boss tiles instead. It's a duck.
I'm fighting a duck!
Green tiles are draw tiles, which, you'll be amazed to hear, will have you draw a card from the deck. Both your cards and the other player's cards will be in this deck, so keep that in mind. These tiles are roll and move tiles. If you land on one of these, you'll be able to roll again and keep moving. There's also warp and move tiles, which will have you warp and then move. Amazing. These are blank tiles, which do jack shit. There's also stage-specific ones like ice tiles, which you can't stop on. You'll often come across places where multiple paths are available, in which case you'll see these small arrows. When moving over these crossroads, you'll be able to choose which way you want to go, accompanied by a preview of what you'd land on if you went that way. The kind of tiles you aim for will depend on your playstyle and the Norma you're going for, though you'll be at the mercy of RNG most of the time anyways.
Part 3. The cards.
At the start of the game, you won't have a huge variety of cards. Fortunately, it's not hard to get more. You just need to buy some from card packs in the shop. There's 4 right now at different prices, with each giving a different set of cards. You'll get one at random each time you buy a pack. The cards themselves come in a few different types. Boost cards tend to affect individual players with such effects as healing, bonus movement, or targeted damage. Event cards are similar but can affect multiple players, such as Cloud of Seagulls, which makes a random player take 2 damage, or Out of Ammo, which prevents players from using cards for 1 chapter. Trap cards are placed on the tile below you when used, and will trigger when someone walks over them. Gift cards will activate just by being in your hand, but you can usually get rid of them by using them. Lost Child is a fun example of this, since it makes you move backwards among other things. Battle cards can only be used in a battle. Examples include I Am on Fire, which increases attack but reduces defense, and Arbits, which increases defense but prevents you from evading. Many cards have a star cost to play, listed on the right here. Green stars represent 1 star and gold ones represent 10. Grey stars indicate that the card has a variable cost based on certain conditions, which you'll usually see listed in the card's description. Hyper cards are character specific and potentially game changing. They can be of various types, even traps, so you want to keep an eye out for those. And some characters are very dependent on them.
Fuck you.
Nanako's hyper, Deploy Bits, is a good example of a strong hyper as it does this. Oh lordy. Cards also have a level cost on the left. If you're not the required level, you can't play the card. If you're trying to build up a lot of stars, you might want to be wary about playing cards with a large cost. It's okay though, because you can just bring a bunch of free trap cards and cause chaos.
Part 4. Doing a fight.
At various points in the game, you'll have to battle, whether it be with random enemies or other players. Battles are normally taken in 2 turns, with one side attacking and the other side defending. The player attacking will roll for damage and the other player will have to try and deal with it. The first option is defending, which will allow you to reduce the incoming damage. For example, if the enemy rolls 5 for damage and you roll 3 for defense, you'll only take 2 damage. The downside to this is that you can't take less than 1 damage from defending, so even if they roll 1 for attack and you rolled a 7 on defense, you'll still take 1 damage. The other option is evading, which allows you to completely avoid damage if you roll higher than your opponent's damage number. The trade-off here is that if you don't, you'll take full damage from the attack, so it's best used against low damage rolls.
お前はもう死んでいる。何?
If you KO an enemy, you'll get a win, and maybe a few stars too. KOing a player will allow you to take some of their stars, so it's a great way to knock people from the top spot and make big profits. Also, being dead sucks. If you get KO'd, you'll have to roll on your next turn to revive yourself. The number you need to hit is based on your character's rec stat and will decrease by 1 each turn, making it gradually easier to revive. Battling is big on the RNG, but there's some ways to change that. Characters come with a wide range of stat modifiers, with increases and decreases alike to attack, defense, and evasion. Kyoko, for example, has +2 to her defense rolls but cannot evade. She's a pretty strong tank as a result.
Part 5. Things to do.
The game has a campaign mode, where you can play through a series of levels as various characters. It's a good way to unlock stuff. Outside of that, there's single player and multiplayer games, and right now there's a summer event going on, where you can cooperate with other players to fight Big the Jonathan, who is a giant fucking seagull. Single player custom games can be a fun way to get some stars and learn characters, but the meat of the game's in the multiplayer. Playing with randoms online is very enjoyable, and playing with friends is downright hilarious. And just as damaging for your friendships as Mario Party. The more you play, the more cards, stages and characters you'll get to play around with. There's one for every playstyle, so there's bound to be something you'll like. There's not really much more to say about it than that. The game's into gameplay.
Part 6.
Wait, are we on part 6 already?
Part 6. Is it worth your dosh?
The game itself is pretty cheap, and if you can catch it in a sale, it's worth getting all the DLC too, regardless of whether you're devoting yourself to playing it a lot or just hitting it up every now and again. One thing I should note is that there's a lot of DLC. Like, a lot. The DLC is almost entirely new characters, and there's some very strong ones available. though pretty much all of them are worth it, so if you're going to get some DLC, you might as well just buy all of it, though you won't get any that come out in the future by doing this. So, is it worth your money? The answer in this case is a resounding yes if it's the kind of game you're interested in. If not, you might hate it. I'm not huge on board games like this myself, but the charm, simplicity and randomness of it just keeps me playing. Skill is not an entirely necessary requirement to play this game. You can sometimes make it through just on sheer luck alone. In fact, that happens quite a lot. In terms of a grade, 100% orange juice gets 275 out of 300 oranges. I have subtracted a solid 10 oranges from this number because you have to grind so damn much to get new stuff. And since I've hit the end of the script and can't think of anything else, I guess that concludes this video. Okay, video's over, go away.